Okay, cool. Welcome everyone to the. Uh, okay, finally. Welcome everyone to the fifth public meeting of openparldata.ch. Today we have some exciting news, but I guess it's probably going to be a rather short meeting anyway. And with that said, here's already the agenda. So we're going to give you a very quick update on what we've been doing with the ECH Fachgruppe or specialized group. Then as well as an update on the crawlers and the data import, and last but definitely not least, an update on the API. And with that said, I will hand over to Christian.
Yeah, welcome everyone also from my side. Here again, our draft model for the project regarding data import. I think we have reached, let's say, 95%. I mean, there is always room for improvement. There is always also stuff which, since the development has gone wrong, and I have to fix that, but this is somehow complete or almost complete. Now we're moving or are working at the API, and around that there are this kind of governance and sustainability model and the optimization, harmonization about the data. And here we have and the ECH specialist group for political affairs. There we have 6 subgroups which are making progress. We have regular meetings in these groups, started to draft, discuss what are the gaps regarding the current situation, what we want to do, started already modeling some models for data, some entities. If you're still here interested in that but are not in the group or feel interested, feel free to join anytime. There's below a website of ECH where you can simply click a form and join the groups in which
I've also posted it to the chat.
You're interested in, yes. Then regarding the data import, what was open since last time was also the parallelization. I started something a little bit, well, it's maybe not the best solution, but it somehow it works that I can run the pipelines parallel. So I have about 70 pipelines, and I can now run 7 pipelines in parallel, which works in the sense which is positive news regarding the database. So there is no error about writing the same table from different sources or streams. But anyway, it still takes hours, and we still have to see how it works out in the server. On the server, we have the idea is that we have use at the moment that we use one instance for test and for production on the same level. So with the idea that if the test is not using any RAM, that we can use that RAM also for the data import as well as the API, which is all on the same server. So we have actually 2 Docker Composes instances on the same server with the idea, so we don't have idle resources on just the test server. We have to see how this works out in the end. We're still in the middle of finding the right deployment mode for the whole setup. We have an idea, but haven't yet currently fully done that so far. Then regarding the API, this was a little bit a battle for what is possible, what is the best way. We have looked into several options. Here you see it's also on the wiki. We have looked for several models. well, there are downsizes, upsides for each of them. At the end, we now decided go for a fast API, even though it means that we have to, well, program more regarding it's not like other product, just click together stuff. But at the end, we hope it will we will be able to, yeah, somehow also develop the needs that might come in the future. Um, yeah, sorry, that's uh, okay. There have been some kind of navigation of the slide. Then regarding the API, so we you can use that at the moment. It's but remember it's just a test instance. The URL will likely change in the future. I have to find a way how to do that, but actually you can go there right now. And you see here all the endpoints, which basically reflects the endpoints of the database in the backend. Um, um, then, yeah, I think regarding the functionalities, the main thing here is, I guess, you can get the data for each endpoint and um, can simply by let's try it out. That's probably not the best one in the sense that it feels, I haven't yet, the whole description have still to be improved. It's not very working with an example so much, but the idea is there. Actually, it's that one we're looking for. So you see, actually here you have all the, you can get all this 20,000 persons. And here I also put in the metadata, the next page. So you already can figure out what are the parameters for the paging. At the moment, the limit, we have a batch size of 100, can increase that or depending on the resources, we have to fetch out how this is handling well with if more people are using the API. And you can do that for all the endpoints. So if you want to do that for the FR, you can do that for the docs, and so on. So basically, you can fetch all the data through these endpoints and store it on your side if that is of interest for you. Then regarding of course, the usual notation for, sorry, it's plural. Is usually you have the one you can make the integers go up here, and then you get all the data about the persons in there. So then you see also when you get the detail record. We already tried to link the relevant data from other entities. Like if you hit the person, you get all the memberships, the interest of the person, the affairs as well. If there are some, yeah, depending, the docs. So we try to bring up so you don't have to really think about what merges together. Actually, it wouldn't be that much a problem because you often see then here there's a person ID, there's a doc ID inside the data. Actually, you can bring that together, but here you can get that detailed. Also, you can do that directly, or sorry, let me stick quickly to the script. Exactly, you have the person. Then sorry. What do you see here, for example, if you have a person, we have a lot of null values. Well, this actually is okay, but sometimes we really have not much information of a person or any other entity. And so you can use a parameter here with hide null like true, and then the null values goes away. I don't know how you like it. Personally, I hate APIs when they do that in the sense of you look at an example, and in your example, you see there is no data, and at the end, you experience, there was data, but you haven't seen that in the example. So by default, it's activated the null values, but you can use this functional parameter to just hide it, so it's maybe more visible depending on your needs. Then we also have there was the issue with the language stuff. So let's say, for example, here that's the default answer for if you would like to have information about the body Arga. And here you see actually we use the notation if there's a multilingual field, you get the name of the field and then the description labels in the different languages. And actually in the backend, under the database, I haven't this kind of notation, but I use a flat model. And you can use or activate, if this is of unique for you, you can activate this with this language format tag flat. And if you do that, you get actually the data, which is the native way how it's stored in the database. Uh, I don't know, maybe there can be views how you would like to store the data on your end. The default, or I mean, that's also up to discussion, is actually the nested one, but you can activate the flat one if needed for all entities as well. Um, Exactly. And then we have the other thing regarding the data with language. So basically here, let's say we have here an example, a group of Canton Waller, which we have data which has often is in two languages. I mean, I try to catch what is there and try to fill out. Sometimes there is nothing in another language, sometimes there is. But if there is, you now can, by default, you get all the data. And you now can use, let's say you want just the French version, you can use the parameter language French. And now it has moved all the data which were before, let's say in this kind of nested mode to the just to use one, right? Um, so here you just have role name or the name of the. Do we have the name of the group? So I think it's at the bottom. Yeah, you have here the name of the group and the type, and then you can say is German, and then you simply have at the bottom the German stuff here. Of course, you also can do that for other language, but then I mean it's clear if you use you want to get the fetch the English version, there is null. So the idea here you can use another parameter just to define which language you want to use for that, which is then language fallback. And here you can define you want to say, let's say you want French first and then German, and then you get here the French stuff, or if you would say you want to have the that one first, then you get the German version. The idea is actually that I just take the stuff which is there by the language. I have seen on the federal level, for example, that they have filled some entities where there is no Italian available with the French directly in the API. I take this over But the idea is yeah, because it's as is, but maybe that's also upcoming in the future that if there's no value, they really print it out in the API as null, and then this would work on our side. You can then decide what you want to do on your side. That's the language stuff. And then, of course, as mentioned, we have this kind of when we have a specific, if you go into the node, you get um, the full record, but you also can use that in this kind of when you want to fetch through multiple entries. You can also activate that, but it's not in there by default because and we also have to see how this works out with the performance if you really want to fetch all the data um, for that. But here you actually have the possibility to use this expand. If you use an asterisk, you get all the available relations as before. So for a person, you get again the memberships, the voting, and so on. Or if you're more comfortable with if we interest in just a specific one, you simply can say you would just want the memberships, and then it just brings you the memberships of a person. Or if you want yeah the votings yeah maybe votings doesn't make sense. In the part would be more the votes, but we have to see how to do that. But let's say you want the affairs of these persons or the connected affairs, you can do that, or can do a combination of memberships and affairs. Yeah, we have to see how this works out if people would retrieve all the full stuff with an entity, but basically you can fetch data as you like in that way. Um, exactly. And then this is not yet fully implemented, but also because you really in the API you have to define that specifically which field should become a filter or not. But here's some examples. So you can use the body key, which actually is in our case the numbers of the city or the abbreviation of the canton, or CH for the Bund. And here you can simply fetch, oh, I want to have all the female persons of the city of Bern. But please note, this is not actually just the parliamentarian. It actually means these are persons related to the city of Bern. This can also be just executive members, or sometimes there are APIs which just expose some kind of people, clerks of the ME stuff in this API as well. So I fetch them all. And if you really are interested in just the active parliamentarians, you probably would have then you use the combination of the persons and the membership. So the idea here is that you see in the memberships, you don't see the memberships, you would have to expand those. The idea is that in the memberships, we have this kind of council legislative, which is somehow I standardized all the memberships. So if they are in a council, they have this kind of council legislative, and you see, okay, this person is a member of the Stadtrat. From then to then, if this information was available. If I don't have a specific time, it's often you can try to go for active false, because sometimes I don't have any information about the specific dates, so it's active or false. And I still have to figure out, to be honest, how to fetch from a person or with if you come from the entity person, how you can search the relations. One thing would be you just go for the memberships. the memberships itself, where you can search memberships by council legislative from any city, and then you get all the members from then. Maybe then can search for active or false, active true or false if you're interested in that. Yeah, still have to figure out how to do that the best with the memberships or the relations. Yeah, then you simply can do stuff like yeah, if you want information about an affair on the national level, and you know the technical ID, or you have the number, the Curia Vista ID, you can simply use that. And you get then the idea here as well, because it's if you search by that, it's has no you would have to use again expand all for the relations, and then you get more information about the contributors, the events, the texts, and so on. Or then if you just have, I mean, if you just have a number, you probably just want to fetch the affair directly with this kind of affair and the specific open par data ID, and you can get the same result. Then we have, for example, if you want to have constellation of one cantons, you can use this kind of type name. Here is the issue that at the moment we don't have any harmonized types, so you really have to search by the native type of this parliament. So if you have in Canton Jura, okay, they call it consultation, but they don't have an equivalent in German. So you would get so yeah, you have to think around if you want to get all the consultations. I mean, this is something which we can still, yeah, maybe try to do that, but again, this is then the question: how do we get to this kind of harmonization? I think would be great to have something on the ECHL level, which is something more official than just me trying to match together these kind of types here. Yeah, there's a limitation in regarding the search, but you can at least search how it's there. So, for example, then if you want to have a consultation, you can say type name in German is Vernehmlassung. Actually, since this is yeah, I mean, it's not. I really try to harmonize that in the sense because it's often Vernehmlassung not actually defined in the parliament itself. So it's you can for most German speaking cantons or federal level this would work, but of course like there you find what information which is like for other affair types, it's what the parliament provides. It's not a harmonized list in the backend. This as well as the state. There are different kind of states. Often there are no states, depending on the parliament. So yeah, you simply can search what is there, and if there is, keep in mind that maybe there is not all information is there. Then we have you can also search. I think the default behavior of the search this, in the end, this is a like search. So you would also get if there's something like an abbreviation in the name as well, you would search like. You get all the Geschäftsprüfungskommission with that search, or you can search for again for names, and you get all the persons with Titli in the API. Yeah, stuff still to do. For example, the docs. So we have about 520,000 document links so far. We haven't yet tested that in the sense to that we have a workflow where we fetch the documents. So we download this to the server. The idea is also to offer the document as binary form, also with the API. So even though the document is not anymore there on the Parliament side, we will host it further on the side of openparldata. Other hand, we also have a little bit that I haven't yet got into that, how we go on with the text search. The idea is when we fetch a document, we will have a workflow which downloads it, extracts the data, and stores the text in a field here in like a simple text field. And yeah, here we also have to find out what was a good way to search all those thousands of documents. I have to look into. I mean, I have seen that Postgres offering also new features for text search, or if you may use another tool like TypeSense to maybe work out a good search for that. That's still on the to-do list. And also something which I haven't yet, which is a bit messy in the sense of course, when you like to fetch data from OPAR data, it would also would be handy to say, okay, I just want to fetch what has been updated. This is a bit more complicated because, yeah, from the outside, we often don't have any timestamp when something has changed. So we just grab that stuff. So I have the modification date on my side when I have changed something, but maybe it wasn't a change, it simply was retrieved again. And sometimes also we for caching reasons, we don't fetch the whole source because this can even longer than it already is. So we don't touch the data in the daily import, but maybe because it moves on from the staggery to the data warehouse to the pool data where the APIs, we have different kind of dates where the data has been changed or let's say moved, copied to. And so there's still a challenge to bring the true change date, it's not the date, to the API. At the moment, I would say it's better safe for you to fetch all the stuff and do the stuff on your side. But we still have to figure out how we can do this kind of change date in the end. Also to how this will work with the API. If you want to say bring me changes greater than, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So yeah, that's for the API for the moment. So maybe this is a place now for you also to say maybe what are your use case and needs? For me, for example, the question would be, would that be enough in the sense that you have filters for most fields which you can connect with or do you need more parameters like in list or stuff and not this kind of Boolean parameters? Is that really a case we have to look into, or yeah, do you have any other remarks on the API you need? Are you still there?
There's also a question in the
Ah.
chat meanwhile. Ursa asked if there is a bulk download to get all the data at once.
That's a question if you well, maybe can offer a dump maybe at some point. I mean that would probably be a possibility, yeah. That we provide the data in a file. If you want to have it at once, it wouldn't be you wouldn't have to use the API. Although I mean, usually when you have an API with this kind of offset thing, you can, I think you can make that an easy script to do it on yourself. But maybe yeah, also to save resources, a dump would be possible way.
Maybe also if you have other questions about what Christian just showed or inputs about the questions he raised, please feel free to speak up, but also post them to the chat. Mario has a question or two or input. I would suggest maybe only using the nested language option. It's such a small data transformation for the user afterwards that I do not think the added complexity is warranted. Small point.
Yeah, actually, the flat version is just an option you can simply ignore if you don't need it. Yes. So there was another question.
Martin asks, when I try to run, will it fetch the data from your end?
With your end, you mean the server from openparldata, yeah? What do you mean to run the whole solution, you mean? Or
I think you answered the question.
okay.
Says okay, thanks.
Yeah, maybe also to repeat that you always can go. I mean, this is there also has been a little bit improvement on that side. Let me find the way to share stuff back. Um, sorry. Oh, sorry. Actually, the idea is always you can go to the GitLab, open that stuff. So at the moment we have it should be working. It's now even easier that you simply can download the Docker stuff. It's all at the moment in this data infrastructure stuff where you have all the Docker compose with all the services. And at the moment you simply have to copy the NV file, add your passwords in here, and then make Docker compose up, and then it will all provide you all the stuff. You have then one, it will start with the import, which is already there, which we try to update, so you don't have to really fetch all the start. There is some kind of base data in the stage area. You simply then have to start a script where you move the data from the stage area to the data warehouse in the pool. This is kind of this script takes about 15 minutes to copy the data in the databases, and then actually the API is up running on your local host. And you can then use the daily load, which takes hours, if you want to update that on your side. So basically, the whole idea is really to, if you want, you can run the infrastructure on your side. So there's no secret component to make this work. Yeah.
Mario has another question for integrating this into maybe a web app where things might need to be fast. Could there be an option to only return IDs with a query, e.g. for list persons?
Yeah, that's maybe something. Yeah, the question if you need a parameter where you can use the select, you can define the selected field. I mean that's something we are looking into with the GraphQL. That's I probably haven't yet mentioned with the strawberry approach to, where we have seen Fast API has a possibility to somehow extend the stuff with GraphQL. A colleague of mine is experimenting with that. We have to see how it works out. But here, actually, that would be the idea that you can, on your side, define the selected fields you want to have. We have to see how difficult this is in addition to what we have. If not, if yeah, it's not feasible or doable in a good time, maybe I can look into ways how to have a field parameter where you can define you just want the IDs, for example, yeah. Or if we run into performance issues, maybe that's the way to go anyway.
Then there's another question from Raquel. Is there a time lag in the API compared to the parliament.ch website, the federal one?
Yeah, a day probably, yeah. So the idea is we run the crawlers at once a day at noon or no midnight, probably midnight, and then fetch the data from. So you at the idea is that you at the morning you get the data from last day. We could maybe explore into fetching data in a even more updated basis. But then probably just for individual stuff, because I think not all parliament it's yeah, it creates loads, and we have to see how also then we can move from the staging to the data warehouse to the pool. Yeah, how this works out. I think it's an idea, but I think it's not prioritized. I think at the moment, if you have daily updates, I think for most use cases, that's enough for the moment.
And then another question from Mario. If you want to prototype, where do we find a changelog for the API while it is in development now?
That's the timeline. Actually, the change log at the moment, there is so much going on. We don't really have all the commits. It's really specifically mentioned out, but you can actually, it's all in this project, the data infrastructure, where you can see the commits. It's actually all in here, the fast API folder, where you can see the rest stuff, what's going on. I think, yeah, the moment we in the next, I think weeks, we will have something like really the first draft. And then also, yeah, there's a colleague starting to work on the GUI, which then also brings another series of input about, well, because the idea is really to build the GUI just on the API, not use any database access. So we see if the data, if the API is really working. And I think until this kind of limited first draft, it's an overkill to really read and make a changelog more than the commit changes. But yeah, when we have a first draft, and also make this also announce that to you so that we can use it in a more stable way. Yeah, we think about doing a changelog and release stuff. We haven't figured out how to do that, but we have GitLab, and we also, I mean, there are features about releases. Yeah, we have to see how this works.
Cool. Do you maybe want to post the link, Christian?
About
Sure. No, the one that the GitLab link that you were currently.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, it's, I mean, so cool. Yes. It's good. I might be mistaken, but if you go back to the presentation, I think it's possible that you missed slide 9, or maybe I was a bit absent, but.
Yeah, no, that was from last time.
Okay.
Somehow we
Fair
had,
enough. I thought we had to bring back the smart boat thingy was new, but anyway, yeah.
That's done. That's done.
Okay, no, all good.
That's done. That's ongoing, and that's still ongoing. I'm sorry, I haven't yet
cool.
been able to do that. But
yes, are there any more questions? Also, I mean, maybe. Yes, we will share the slides. They're going to be on the GitLab as well as also for the last a couple of times, including the recording. So it's all going to be there. The cleaned up slides, yes. Yes. Any other, I mean, also in terms of use cases, I mean, if you go back one slide, maybe Christian, there's already a couple of projects that are currently running. But if you have like especially other use cases or projects you're thinking about doing, please get in touch with us for us to be able to involve you as early as possible also within the user testing. If you have any questions or things like that, yeah, feel free to shoot us an email or get in touch with us via GitLab issues, etc., etc. Very good. Fabian asks, when should we migrate?
Yeah, again, I guess the migrate stuff, I guess we have to still harden the API. Also have to really finish this kind of deployment. I think figure out the domain. There is an idea, but we still have to do that. And when it's ready, I think, yeah, you can try in test environment.
Sweet. All right. If there's no more questions or input or other things, go to the next slide maybe. Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. So the next Open Parl Data public meeting is taking place on the 13th of August, which is also close to the kind of end of the funding by Mercator. So we are most definitely going to have something cool to show at that point. Maybe also on a personal note, as some of you might have heard, I'm going to be leaving openparldata.ch as a director. Actually, today is my last day, but I will stay on like in this capacity or for this project until this Mercator funding finishes in August. So basically for this sprint, so to say, and then I will continue working. So I will start a new job at the Berner Fachhochschule at the Institute for Public Sector Transformation in September, and I will most definitely stay on this project in that capacity. Yes, maybe that as a quick update from my side. So super excited to keep working on this with Christian and all of you. Yes, cool. So next slide again. If you want to follow the progress and contribute, you find it on GitLab. If you have like further like input that comes up, please after this call, please send it to us. If you want to be involved, let us know, and we'll be happy to integrate you even more. Thank you so much for all the support and the questions.